Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. In today's episode, I'm gonna get rid of those pesky frame rails that are running out past the rear bumper that have been there forever, and I'm gonna mount the fuel cell and the battery in the trunk of the 240Z. Stay tuned. Before I get started today, I want to take a second out to thank our sponsor. This episode is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. If you're making a big move in your life and you want to share it with the world, you need a good website. And Squarespace allows anybody, seriously anybody, to build a professional, beautiful looking, very powerful website or storefront very, very easily. We just launched our app D is for Drift, and I just jumped onto Squarespace, used my promo code, saved myself a bunch of money, jumped onto Squarespace, and I built our website dsfordrift.com with Squarespace, and it's cross-browser compatible, cross-device compatible. I don't have to ever worry about patching anything. They have an all-in-one system back end that means that you don't have to install anything, you don't have to patch anything, you don't ever have to worry about updates. Before I started doing YouTube full-time, a lot of you guys know that I was a software engineer for over 6 years, and people often ask me, how do I get a website going? And I always told people, you gotta use Squarespace. Reason being is it's very intuitive to use, it's very easy. You select one of their award-winning templates for the website you wanna build, and then it's as easy as drag and dropping images and replacing text. So if you can write an email, you can build yourself a website on Squarespace. If you get stuck for any reason, they have 24/7 customer support that'll help you out of that. And what you'll end up with is a really, really good looking website, and it will continue to be good looking, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So if you want to share your next move with the world, if you want to share your next song, if you're a musician, or maybe you're doing some clothing line and you need a storefront, head over to squarespace.com/B is for Build, and that will get you a free trial as well as 10% off of your first purchase. I just used this promo code last week and it saved me a bunch of money, so you guys should do it too. I'll put a link in the description, or again, it's squarespace.com/B is for Build. Thanks so much, Squarespace, for sponsoring this episode. Now let's get down to the trunk. Down in the trunk, actually. Got the trunk cleaned out, cut all these edges up here a little bit more cleanly. They're not 100% perfect. I think someday we'll put sheet metal over that stuff. Kind of depends how things are landing back here, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to build some sort of a base on there. So I wanna leave a little lip that we can weld onto later on. So moving on, we're gonna go ahead and cut these frame rails now, right behind where they mount into the subframes, probably about an inch back. Cut both of those, and then we will basically be flipping them upside down so they can go up a little bit more towards the back end where we want to connect up with the body. Okay, so we cut our rails and then we've started cutting the supporting pieces that we're gonna build off of it. So you have this piece right here that's got an angled slice right here to match up with that angle there, and it's got a notch out of it right there to match up with what I'm calling our rear bumper. This is a rear impact tube. The car has some reinforcement right here that is pretty strong, you know, it's squared off. Down here is where the normal, sorry, the camera's at a weird angle. Right here is where the normal bumper bolts up. That's where you would normally bolt in a bumper that would run across there. Since we're removing that bumper, I thought it would probably be smart to put in some more reinforcement. So that's what this 1 3/4 inch tube is. It's gonna come in and meet up right here. Across here, it's going to weld in 3 spots, once over there, once right there, and once right there. on the mount where the rear bumper went. So that's gonna get put in here. I think the next thing I'm gonna do right now actually is I'm gonna cut one more of these. So I have one for this side over here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tack weld all of this stuff up. I gotta clean this this area, prep it for weld, and then I will tack weld everything in and show you guys what it's gonna look like before I weld it up. Got everything all tacked up. I flashed myself a couple times so I can't really see straight anymore, but it's all there. So the next step is I'm gonna jump in, probably jump in there. I think I'm gonna have to jump in there and weld everything all up fully. Bar to the car, rails to the bar, all the good stuff. If I say bar one more time, I'm gonna get distracted and be out of here. Okay, got that all welded up, and the rear of the car is much more firm now that it's mounted to the frame. It's I'm trying to move it right now, and I don't know why I always do that. I do that on camera, thinking like trying to move things that are clearly not supposed to move, and I'm like, look, it doesn't move. I could just, you know, not do that in the first place. Anyways, it's all welded up. It's very sturdy. Now I want to go ahead and test fit the fuel cell. The interesting thing that we got to think about here is we can't forget the rest of the bracing that we have designed for the car. So there's one bar that's supposed to go from the top of the main bar down kind of this way, and another one that's supposed to cross through it, as well as some strut supports, and we may even build more strut supports like between the two struts. So there's a lot of supports that need to go into this back end, and then we want to fit the fuel cell and the battery and stuff like that. So I got to be very careful with my test fitting, but I just got to do it and hope that it's not wrong, right? Okay, I kind of spent forever trying to figure out how I want to mount this thing. The tough part is not easy to see why it's the tough part. If I flip it up like this, you can see that there's a recessed area right here. So I can't mount any type of bar across here, and that was my game plan. Just a bar across here, move up there, a bar across there, and I had all these two level points, and I had everything all thought out. So that doesn't really work. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build tabs off of here that are gonna go like this. We're gonna probably use two 90-degree gussets, this really, really thick steel, so they'll be nice and strong. They're gonna come out, there's gonna be a piece of angle in the middle, because then I can get a little bit of downward gusseting as well, and then there'll be another one on the side. So I'm just basically building a super, super strong tab. It's a little overkill because this tab here is meant to hold this thing up, and it's made out of aluminum, and it's much thinner than the steel. But I just want to be careful. And also these are going to extend to go underneath the tank a little bit as well. And then on the back side, since it's just a straight across, I can use a straight piece of square tubing, which I already have picked out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut everything and pre-weld these and get them all ready to go. Then I will square up the tank, make sure I got it exactly centered where I want it. Then I'm going to test fit the battery, make sure I left space for that, and then we'll tack everything in. All right, well there we have it. Our fuel tank is mounted. Well, I haven't thrown the hardware through there yet because I don't have any hardware yet, but you can see the 4 mounting points right there and there and there and there. So those are the little gusset things with angle iron that I made. And I used angle iron because we'll be able to get underneath here and weld that to the bottom of that railing, which will make it like even stronger so it won't want to flex down. I also extended them so they come out underneath the tank to over here. I just realized that over here there's not really a whole lot under the tank, but we can also slide this back and forward, give or take 1/4 of an inch or so we could at least get the lip of the tank onto that thing. I'm going to save all the welding until Eric gets here. He's going to be here day after tomorrow because that one's going to be tricky welding it from underneath. Or maybe I just don't want to weld upside down. But look how level our tank is. So you can see the bubble. That's like front to back. That's side to side. So we're looking good. It's nice and level on all ways, so I'm happy about that. And I'm happy about where the tank landed. I've decided I don't really want to mount the battery tonight because we need to learn more about where the loom is going to land and where it wants the battery to go, because the battery used to go right here in the middle. Obviously we're going to have a lot of slack with the loom though, so I'm thinking the battery probably needs to be on the left side, but instinctually for some reason I want to put it on the right because I think in BMWs it's normally on the right side. So, you know, we'll mount it when we get the wires around it. All right, guys, that's where I'm going to call this one. Thank you so much for watching, and a big thanks to our sponsor, Squarespace. Guys, if you're ready to make your next big move and you want to show the world, hit the link in the description and start your new website with Squarespace. Other than that, if you want to follow us in more places, find us on Instagram. We're BS for Build on Instagram and Facebook and Twitch. All those good things. Follow us on there. And please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace! Come on.